Welcome to a video about the Redux Toolkit. After watching this video, you will be able to define Redux Toolkit in the context of React, describe the Redux Toolkit utilities used to streamline Redux tasks, describe the Redux Toolkit architecture, describe the relationship between a store and a slice. In the context of React, Redux Toolkit RTK is an official package the Redux team provides to simplify Redux development and make it more efficient. It includes utilities that help streamline common Redux tasks, reduce boilerplate code, and simplify development. Redux Toolkit includes utilities to streamline Redux tasks. It provides a configure store function that combines several pieces of Redux setup logic into a single function call. The function includes setting up the Redux store with commonly used middleware, such as Redux Thunk, for handling asynchronous actions and enabling the Redux DevTools extension for debugging. Redux Toolkit introduces the createSlice function, which allows developers to define slice reducers that automatically handle immutable updates to the state. The function makes it easier to write reducer logic without having to worry about mutating the state directly. Redux Toolkit significantly reduces the boilerplate code needed to set up Redux in an application. This reduction leads to cleaner, more concise code and faster development time. Using Redux Toolkit can make your Redux code base cleaner, more organized, and easier to maintain, especially in larger applications where managing state can be complex. To get started with the Redux Toolkit in a React application, you can install it through npm or yarn. Also, ensure that React Redux is installed on your application. The Redux Toolkit contains at least one slice file and one store file. A slice in the Redux Toolkit represents a piece of your application state and the logic to update it. Slices are typically defined using the createSlice function provided by Redux Toolkit. It consists of a reducer, action creators, and an initial state. A reducer is a function that receives the current state and an action and returns a new state based on that action. Action creators are functions that create actions to be dispatched to the store. The initial state is the initial value of the state slice. The Redux store is a single JavaScript object that holds the complete state tree of your application. It is the source of truth for your data. In the Redux Toolkit, the store is created using the configure store function, which takes in an object with reducer functions as its argument. The store allows access to the state through getState function, allows state updates through dispatch action, and registers listeners through subscribe listener. The relationship between a slice and the store can be summarized as follows. Slices define individual parts of your application state and the logic to update them. The store is where all these slices are combined to form the complete state tree of your application. Each slice reducer is added to the Redux store during its creation using configure store function. The store combines all the slice reducers into a single reducer using combine reducers function. When actions are dispatched, the store delegates them to the appropriate slice reducers based on their corresponding slice. Let us understand the relationship between slices and stores using an example. Suppose you have an e-commerce application that depicts the increase in the product quantity in your cart, the total bill amount, and the number of supercoins you will earn on a purchase that you can use in your next payment. In this application, you will have the following components. app.jsx is the parent component. productQuantity.jsx will increment the quantity of a product item. CartValue.jsx will calculate the total amount. CounterSlice.jsx will contain the reducer and any associated action creators within a single file. Store.jsx will store the Redux state. Main.jsx is the entry point. ProductQuantity.jsx displays a product's quantity and allows users to increase or decrease it. It imports useDispatch and useSelector hooks from React Redux to interact with the Redux store. useSelector is used to extract the counter state from the Redux store. The component renders buttons to increment or decrease the quantity. When these buttons are clicked, The corresponding increment or decrement action from the counter slice is dispatched to the Redux store using dispatch. CartValue.jsx component determines the total bill amount and displays it based on the product quantity saved in the Redux store. To get the counter information from the Redux store, it uses useSelector. The final amount is calculated using the number of items and a set price per unit. CounterSlice.jsx file defines a Redux slice named counter. It initializes the counter state to 0 and defines two reducers, increment and decrement. When the increment or decrement actions are dispatched, they update the counter state accordingly. Store.jsx file configures the Redux store using configure store from the Redux Toolkit. It imports the counter reducer from counter_slice and sets it as the reducer for the counter slice. The configured store is then exported and used in the application. The main.jsx component is the entry point of the application. It wraps the app component with the provider component from React Redux, passing the Redux store as a prop. In this video, you'll learn that, in the context of React, Redux Toolkit or RTK is an official package the Redux team provides to simplify Redux development and make it more efficient. Redux Toolkit provides a configure store function that combines several pieces of Redux setup logic into a single function call. Redux Toolkit introduces the createSlice function, which allows developers to define slice reducers that automatically handle immutable updates to the state. A slice in the Redux Toolkit represents a piece of your application state and the logic to update it. The Redux store is a single JavaScript object that holds the complete state tree of your application.